Hello friends, bienvenidos. My name is Jen, aka Jen Kahlo on social media, your local witchy friend and intuitive guide through the occult. As always, my lovely husband and co-host is David, aka Premier Pulls on social media.
Hi everyone, on today's episode, Jen explains the Fibonacci series, aka the Golden Ratio.
Welcome to the show, grab a chair, make yourself at home. Jen's got stories to share, you'll never feel alone.
Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting, nerdy, mathematical episode.
It is. And you know, this one, funny enough, I was like, okay, it's more in my wheelhouse. This is one where I struggle a bit. I'm really excited to learn more on this one as opposed to give my opinion. And I have a basic understanding of it, but this is one that does weird me out a little bit. Yeah, which is, you're like, wait, what? Like, why? Just because I know, we're going to talk about it, but I know it shows up in nature, and nature is dictated by randomness a lot. Like, actual nature has a lot of randomness in it. To see, like, repeating patterns, I think is kind of weird. Yeah, but maybe I'll have a better understanding, so.
Yeah.
I'm going to have my listening ears on today instead of my talking.
Your talking mouth.
My talking mouth, right?
That reminds me of like Mr. Potato Head for some reason right now.
With the
I wonder if he has a golden ratio. Anyway.
With the idioms. Do you ever mess up any idioms?
So yeah, I'm sure I do.
Earlier today, we were just joking with each other, and I mean, this was on purpose. But Jen was getting a little too cocky, so instead of saying get off your high horse, I was like, get off your high donkey.
Yep, that's fine with me. But yeah, the Fibonacci sequence. Why is the golden ratio called the Fibonacci sequence? It was introduced to Western European mathematics by an Italian mathematician, Leonardo of Pisa, known as Fibonacci, in his 1202 book, Liber Abaci. So that
was his nickname?
Yes.
Can I say something that I've kind of found interesting in mathematics? When you study math, I think all the way up till possibly college, unless you're a math major, you only learn the practice of. Very rarely do you go into the history of math. Mm-hmm. And I've always thought that'd be a very interesting class or subject matter where you sure maybe touch on this on like the subject matter, but you never really go into the history of how things were discovered or the history of like even the quadratic formula. Like we all memorize it, we all know it, but where did it come from? How did we discover it? I think that would be an interesting class. And I do wonder if math majors have to take those courses. What do you think?
I'm sure they do.
Yeah, like understanding the history of math.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. While this is named after him, the sequence was known by Indian mathematicians as early as 200 BCE. So a lot of history is written from a, white supremacist Western POV where it's like Columbus discovered the Americas, and it's like, how can you discover something that already existed? Similarly, like we know that like Baghdad, Persia, India was like so rich with China was so rich with like discovery and knowledge and stuff, but a lot of what we learned were like, oh, Fibonacci. He was instrumental in bringing that knowledge to Europe.
He made it sexy.
yeah, he did to Western European consumption.
And I think there's this misconception, and I want your opinion on this. I think there's a strong misconception that maybe westernized civilizations had better record keeping. Mm-hmm. And that's not true.
No.
Like, the Chinese invented paper. But when you are in power and you are becoming in this like a powerhouse, you're going to destroy the records of the people you want to bring down. So there's a misconception that a lot of ancient or scientific discoveries came about from, the Italians, basically the Europeans, and that's not true. A lot of them did come from these ancient civilizations, but as we took over, because I wasn't a part of it, but they destroyed all those things, and then when they rediscovered it, they're like, oh, we did it, but that's not true, right?
Yeah. And it's so sad because a lot of any civilization, any country that you'll see, they'll go through these weird peaks and valleys of religiousness, and when there's like a big theocracy or like very religious people in power, they end up destroying a lot of their like mathematical science discoveries and records. And so they go to like a period of like dark ages.
Yes.
So yeah, I don't want to get too like political right now, but that is happening in some parts of the world, and in other parts of the world it always will ebb and flow. So,
and as humanity, you fuck yourself over, right? Like the power of hatred can hurt you, because at the end of the day, all these things benefit us as humans. But to be like, nah, we're just gonna destroy it and then we'll rediscover it later, like that's crazy work.
Yeah, it's a cycle that you see. Like if you study any culture, any country's history, there's always like a Renaissance period and then a dark period.
Getting a little tinfoil hattie, we have the golden record, right, out in space. Do you know about that?
No, what is that?
So we sent out a golden record into space with instructions, and I don't know if we have a record player, but essentially it is an American thing where we decided to put things on golden records that basically explain like life and explain like what we think as humans is the most important things, right? So if an alien were to discover us, they would have a snapshot of what we at that moment thought was the most important thing. But I think there's some scientific contribution. I believe it describes our genetic makeup. It describes like what we're made of with our DNA. So like I'll give credit where credit is due. But on a broader scale, right, like we're sending that out there in case there's alien life form, we can communicate to them what we are. But history is written by the victors. Like one record to represent humanity, but like who's making the record, right? Like I'm sure we are not explaining like Aztec astrology or all the wonderful contributions that all cultures have given to humanity, but we chose like this one.
Exactly.
You didn't know about the golden record?
No, I didn't actually.
I have to look into it and give you the details. It's really interesting.
So I'm not saying like Fibonacci was racist. No, but just give credit where credit is due. Like Fibonacci didn't discover this. It was known even by like, early Indian society, 200 BCE.
Yeah.
But he did bring it to Europe, which is big. Something else that he brought to Europe, people were using Roman numerals and they were so clunky. So he brought the Indo-Arabic numeral system to the West, which is like how we write numbers now.
Yes.
Like how instead of 2 being 2 sticks, it's like this. And I've seen a lot of people try to troll some racist people, and they're like, can you believe that they're teaching Arabic numbers in schools? And they're like, not my child, no. And it's like, you're a dumbass.
Yes.
So
so Fibonacci is the one who brought that. Oh, that's good. Yes, because it's difficult. Yeah, every time Super Bowl comes around, I struggle.
we're like, huh? But yeah, so he brought that to the West. Thank you, Fibonacci. I love my Arabic numbers. And so he traveled as a young boy, because it's like, how did he learn all of this stuff when he, is European? He was educated in Algeria, where he learned the Arabic numeral system compared to the Roman numbers, and then he learned like all of this great like sequence and stuff. But he did notice a few more things in nature that he added to the knowledge basically. But he got his foundations like traveling abroad and stuff.
Was he a scholar or a Renaissance man? What was he?
I would call him a scholar, but he was like well traveled and well educated, because that's like his parents instilled that in him.
So he must have had come from either like nobility or higher class, right, to be able to go on
do
these
that.
endeavors.
Yes. So let's talk about the actual what it is. Yes. So in mathematics, the Fibonacci sequence is a sequence in which each element is the sum of the 2 elements that precede it. So I'll give some examples, and you have to start with 0 and repeat 1 twice. So it's a little interesting, but that's just how it works. So 0 plus 1 is 1.
Yes.
Then 1 plus 1 is 2.
Yes.
And then 1 plus 2 is 3. 2 plus 3 is 5. 3 plus 5 is 8. So that's basically how it repeats. Oh. And that's what a Fibonacci number is.
And indefinite, I'm assuming. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know. Okay. That's an easy breakdown.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you want to like literally see it, if you're a visual person, just type in like Fibonacci numbers and then you can see it and it'll make more sense than maybe like auditory, because I'm definitely more of a visual person. If someone just threw these numbers at me, I'm like, huh, what? Hold on. So Google Fibonacci numbers and then you'll see it and you'll see what I'm talking about.
And it's not quite exponential, but it does have...
It is exponential.
It is. Well,
It's an exponential growth formula.
Okay, maybe we need to go back a little bit. I thought I was a good understanding. So my understanding of exponential, or maybe this is a form of exponentialism, is when you take a number, you double it, and then you take that number and then you double it. So you're essentially multiplying the number by itself. In this case, you're not necessarily doubling, but you're adding a bigger integer each time. Too, obviously the numbers get big, so they're exponential-like, but they're not necessarily exponential, right? So if you take 1 plus 1, that's 2. If you take 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 plus 4 is 8. 8 plus 8 is 16. That's an exponential from my understanding.
Exponential growth just means that it grows without stopping. And if you look at the Fibonacci numbers, basically the next number that comes will be the same size as all the numbers before it, basically. So
say that again. Let me visualize it. If you look at a Fibonacci number, they'll be bigger than the numbers that came before it. Is that what you said?
So 0. Let's do 0 plus 1 is 1. So 0 plus 1, you get like, let's say 1 square. And then the output is 1 square. 1 plus 1 is 2. So if you put these 2 1s in this 2, you'll get the same area.
Okay.
And then 2 plus 3 is 5. So you'll get like a 5 and then a 5. So if you put it all together visually, and if you need like...
And sequentially?
Yes. Yeah. So if you need like a visual aid, look up also the Fibonacci square. And from there, we get the Fibonacci spiral. But basically... Yes. You're gonna double.
I see. Yeah, because I'm picturing the Fibonacci spiral. It looks like a snail's shell essentially, and it doubles within itself. So the center is the little square, right?
Yes.
And as it grows, it spirals out, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So if you're more of a visual person, you'll need to look this up. But basically, it does double like that.
Yeah. No, I guess that's true. It's not an exact doubling, because if it was an exact doubling, it'd be like a stair. But it's a sequential it's like a sequential growth.
Yeah.
Sequential exponential growth.
Yeah, but not all exponentials are going to be nice and neat like squares, because you could have to the power of 3, to the power of 4, whatever.
If you're a mathematician, you need to come
Yeah.
No, but I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Things build on top of each other in a non-randomized way. It is very structural.
Yes. Okay, I think that's...
And it is infinite.
Yes.
You can't stop a Fibonacci sequence.
Yes.
You can go forever if you wanted to.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Perfect.
So,
and something about me, I don't know if I shared, I struggle really hard with conceptualizing shapes. Like, I have to write it down or see it, because a lot of people can, think of especially like 3D space. So if I were to visualize a cube, it takes a lot of processing power for me. When I was doing welding, I struggled a lot, because we would have like blueprints essentially on obviously a piece of paper, and you'd have to kind of visualize them in 3D space, and I struggled really hard with that.
Yeah. So I understand it is hard, but like I said, if you need these visual aids, because that's how I understood this when I was doing the research, I was like, wait, what?
I'll put up the spiral. You'll see it.
Yeah. So basically, if you physically draw them out, you get all of these squares where they add up to the next thing, like I was mentioning. But when you connect them, you get the Fibonacci spiral. Yeah. And that's where you get that like beautiful spiral shape, which, you see in different places in nature. But Fibonacci numbers are also strongly related to the golden ratio, which is phi, the Greek letter phi. And you can remember it's phi like pi, not phi. So if you multiply a number by phi, you will get the next number. So 1 multiplied by phi, you'll get 2. 2 multiplied by phi, you'll get 3. 3 multiplied by 5, you'll get 5. 5 multiplied by phi, you'll get 8, so on and so forth.
So what is phi then? It's a special Greek number?
It's the golden ratio. It's 1.618, so on and so forth. Kind of like pi. How pi is like 3.14,
Yes.
blah, blah, blah. So phi is 1.618, so on and so forth.
Is phi an irrational number, or does it have... So, a little math. Irrational numbers are like pi or e, where they have repeating non-sequential numbers that go indefinitely.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, so phi is not an irrational number.
It goes on.
But does it have a repeating pattern?
Oh, does it have a repeating pattern?
Yeah,
No.
because pi doesn't have a repeating pattern.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, got it. Okay, so phi is an irrational number.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So like it's 1.618033987 and it trails. Yeah.
And if you multiply that by any of the Fibonacci numbers, it gives you the next number. But it can't be exact, right? Because
it's pretty close. You have to round, but it's pretty close.
oh, okay, but it's not exact.
No,
It can't be exact.
It
because
can't
it's a
be
decimal.
exact.
Ah,
But it's still amazing.
Yeah.
It's the golden ratio.
who discovers this? Right?
Well, apparently, someone in India in 200 BCE, which is dope.
Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, they're strongly related to the golden ratio. And that when people say golden ratio, it's phi. It's not like 2/3. It's phi.
Okay.
So yes, when you multiply a Fibonacci number by phi, you get the next number.
sequence.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. So they're two different things. I fucked up the intro because I think I said Jen explains,
The Fibonacci sequence.
aka the golden ratio, but they're two things. It's part. I mean, it's kind of part of it, but they are two independent things. I should have said "and" instead of "aka."
I mean, we could re-record the intro, but
No, I'm not doing that.
okay, whatever. Y'all are seeing behind the scenes sometimes the decisions that we have to make or not make. But yes, so they are two different things. Sometimes, or not sometimes, but something that I learned, which I'm trying to Google really quickly, is you can also get kilometers to miles using phi.
Really?
Yes. So if you multiply a mile by phi, you can get the kilometers.
Huh.
Because
I wonder if it was on purpose.
5K, I don't know if it was on purpose.
5K is like 3 point something miles, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you multiply 3 miles by phi, you will get 5 kilometers.
Every time I hear kilometers, especially when you're talking like races, I think of that meme that's like, what the hell is a kilometer? And it's like the ego noises. I think it's like a NASCAR race, or it's like America.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know, I'm so bad. I've gotten a little better with understanding kilometers because I watch Formula One. Oh, I have my Formula One hat on. But no, yeah, I struggle with that. And again, somebody that struggles with conceptualizing, it's hard for me to picture 5 kilometers versus 5 miles. Yeah.
Interesting. Well, now you can use phi and kind of work backwards, where it's like
1 point, what was it again? 1 point something?
1.618.
Okay, so about 1.5. That's how I'm going to have to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's kind of interesting to see it out in nature. It exists a lot in nature, but it's not like a golden rule. It's not like everything is dominated by Fibonacci. Like it's interesting to see the Fibonacci golden ratios and numbers and things like that in nature, but also as much as it exists, it also doesn't exist in nature.
There are things in nature that follow the Fibonacci sequence, but not everything's dictated by the Fibonacci sequence.
Exactly. So when a lot of people first learn about the golden ratio, Fibonacci sequence, they get really excited and they're like, oh my God, it's everywhere. And it's like, it exists in as many places as it doesn't. Yeah.
You almost go into the psychology of the confirmation bias. Once you think you see it, then you see it everywhere. But it is important to do that. And I guess circling back just a little bit, that's why I think it is so mesmerizing to me, because nature is randomness, even evolution, right? I think people think there's this, speaking of sequences, there's this sequential evolution. We start from the primordial soup, move our way into early mammals, then move our way into primates, and then eventually we have humans. And when you draw it out, it does look very sequential, but that's not how it goes. So with evolution is those mutations and those traits that serve your environment, and they essentially after a certain time become the predominant traits in that organism. But people think it's like, for example, this is not how evolution works, but I think a general conception is like the giraffe, right? So they have long necks because the food was on top, and they think like, oh, throughout different generations, their necks started growing. That is the outcome, but there was generations where maybe they had crooked necks, or they had smaller necks, or the trees were shorter. And there's random mutations that allow to have us ultimately into where we are today. But I don't also think evolution stops, right? So it'd be really interesting to see how it continues. All that to say is that it's random. That's why when you find something like the golden ratio or the Fibonacci series in nature, it is interesting to see, right?
Well, it's interesting because with like mutations, for example, it's like for as many like successful mutations as it took to see a difference in species, there were also hundreds or thousands of mutations that also didn't work, and you didn't see it past one generation.
Exactly. Yeah. But to see something repeatable and kind of in its perfect package naturally does seem counterintuitive.
While nature is full of randomness, it also does have to have some order, or else things can't build on top of each other. So
yeah, I think we get into the philosophical of like, what is order, right? Is it like the observation of how we as humans observe order? Or I mean, I guess even again, this is getting really philosophical, but maybe the Fibonacci series, or things that look orderly, from our perspective, but maybe there's like a higher perspective of that's just what it is. It's not necessarily order, right? Because, I mean, us as humans, if you take it on a biological level, we're not that complex. We're carbon-based life forms, and there's very specific instructions on how to make humans. But again, we evolved into understanding that. But, as we progress, possibly with tech, possibly with AI, we may be able to understand like different nuances with nature.
Yeah, but there does have to be like, I guess I'm not surprised when I learned this, because it's like it makes sense. Things have to build.
To be a building block.
Yeah, there have to be building blocks, and things have to build on top of each other. That's just my opinion. I think it's still cool, and
you know how I kind of see it? It's like Legos, right? You can follow the instructions and build what's on the box, but then you could also build other things with the same Legos that are provided to you. And you can still end up with a final product, but one is like following the instructions, and one is, I guess, the chaos or the nature of like having it. But ultimately, it's like the same building blocks. Right?
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, that's kind of an interesting way to put it. Awesome.
Well, I'm excited to talk about real life examples and move from abstract to, things that you can easily think about, reference, and visualize that actually follow like the golden ratio, have a Fibonacci sequence right after this break. Today's episode is brought to you by us, Kythera Collective. If you've been vibing with the energy of the show, then you're going to love the Kythera Club over on Patreon. It's a space that I built for the cosmic, the curious, and the slightly chaotic. You know who you are. With 3 delicious tiers to choose from, we start with the chocolate level at $4 a month, which gains you access to weekly horoscopes and the exclusive Unhinged podcast, where I say things that don't make it to this main feed. It's sweet, it's spicy, and it's just for you. Next, we have the cafe level at $7 a month. This is where things really start to get cooking. You'll receive access to exclusive workshops, monthly virtual hangouts, and a private Discord community where you can chat directly with me and receive exclusive behind-the-scenes updates. It's magical, cozy, and a little unhinged in the best way. Finally, we have the tequila level. This is the VIP lounge. At $25 a month, you'll receive everything from the previous tiers, plus a personal 15-minute one-on-one session with myself or David each month, and discounts if you want to extend the session. It's a whole vibe and a powerful way to receive personalized guidance. So if you've been laughing along with us, crying or rage screaming in agreement, come hang out with us at the Kythera Club. Head over to patreon.com/JenCalo and choose your tier. If you want to sponsor an episode and advertise with us, go to our website, www.gencalo.com. All right, now back to the show.
Okay, let's get into the pragmatic, because sometimes thinking in the clouds does not work for me. I need to see it done for it to make sense. So let's talk about some examples.
Yeah. So some examples in art and architecture: the Parthenon, which is a big ancient Greek building that was built to honor Athena after a war.
That's what it is. I was like, that sounds so familiar. But
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. The Greeks loved a good golden ratio. So
They did.
yeah, the Parthenon, if you look at like its height and like the different columns, and yeah, it's full of golden ratios. It's really cool to see.
Would you ever want to visit like Greece and see the colors?
100%.
Oh, you would.
100%.
I would definitely go. I wouldn't be opposed to it, but that's not one that like calls my name to go see.
And also Italy.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, okay, so Zia is doing a very cool like guided trip where she's taking people to Sicily, and supposedly that's the place where Persephone got pulled to the underworld.
Oh,
Yeah.
that could be interesting. Yeah, I think I see why maybe this would be more intriguing to you, because a lot of the things that you do when following your practice do stem from some Greek origin, right? So
Greek Roman, yeah. But you know what's funny? I had a little existential moment, like, why do I resonate so much with Greek Roman stuff? Like, who am I? But then, like, I don't know, I felt kind of weird, impostery, but then I was like, wait a minute, Catholicism is Roman. What the hell? Like, why am I judging myself when people also follow things that aren't necessarily from their blood? Anyway.
I think I know where you're coming from, though, because I don't know, this could just be me feeling like holier than thou, but I would be more interested in seeing like Aztec ruins, Aztec pyramids, the Olmec, the big heads, as opposed to seeing like the Greek, like ancient Greek. So I'd rather see like Mesopotamic ancient things than like Greek Roman things.
You mean Mesoamerican?
Mesoamerican, sorry. Yes,
Yeah.
Mesoamerican things. So I don't know if that makes sense or not, but yeah.
Yeah.
The kind of going to your point of like, maybe that guilt of like, why do I want to see like the westernized stuff when we have all these really cool things in our own like lineage? But
Yeah. And then the Cathedral of Notre Dame.
yeah.
Also, because like if you look at it, it looks like a big rectangle. It's a golden rectangle. Like, it's very cool.
I only know two things about Notre Dame: the Hunchback, and then sadly that it burned recently, right?
Yeah, they're doing.
It didn't completely fall apart though, right? Yeah.
They were able to like restore it.
And with the restoration, from my understanding, they're actually taking the time to stick to the traditions of the time when it was built. They're not really using modern building techniques, right?
And then the Mona Lisa as well.
Do tell.
Yeah.
Where do we see the Fibonacci series in the Mona Lisa?
We see it a lot with like the ratio from like eye to forehead, eye to mouth, like total head shape.
Oh, that's the golden ratio, though, not the Fibonacci series, right?
But the golden ratio ties back to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the distance from, let's say, the crest of the head to the bridge of the nose would be like 1.6 whatever. And then you would or I guess you would start maybe from the chin to the lip and then multiply that by 1.6, and that would be bottom lip to nose. And then
I think it's more like, eye to chin. Like, you can break it up into different rectangles, but I think it starts from like forehead to eye is like one piece, and then
you multiply that
by 1.6. Yeah.
Would it be longer though? So you'd start from a small to larger?
I don't know exactly how the artist did it. I saw like a visual video of it where it like made sense, and they drew like a bunch of different rectangles on like a face. Maybe
And the Mona Lisa was perfect.
it had a lot of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why it's so unnerving to see. There's like the thing that it's like, oh, it feels like it's following you around, or it's hard to know if she's smiling, right? It's very mysterious.
The painting of the Last Supper, like the famous one that we know.
We just talked about the Last Supper during our last episode, right?
Yeah.
Is it where all the homies are placed? Yeah.
And then
All the homies. Jesus and his disciples.
the Great Wave, which is like the
Japanese, the ancient Japanese.
that follows the spiral.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, if you could own the Mona Lisa, the Last Supper, or Hokusia's Great Wave, which one would you take?
I would say the Great Wave, and then the last painting that I'm going to mention, which is the Birth of Venus.
Which one's that one?
The Birth of Venus. Venus is being born on a shell in the ocean.
Oh, that's a painting? Oh, I thought that was a sculpture.
It's a painting.
Oh, it's a painting.
I mean, there are sculptures of Venus.
But the original is the...
I'm sure there's a counterpart, but
Okay.
I know it as like the painting, and I should have worn that dress. That makes...
You have that dress.
Ah, fuck. Yeah,
Yes.
I missed a perfect like outfit opportunity.
Yes.
I should have worn that dress. But yes, I do have a dress that is like the Birth of Venus.
Okay,
but-
so out of Mona Lisa, Last Supper, The Great Wave, and Birth of Venus, which one would you personally own the original of?
if I could have two, I would do Birth of Venus and the Great Wave. And if I can only pick one, it would be Birth of Venus for sure.
Okay.
What about you?
I want to say, just to stick on theme and not seem like a hypocrite, I would say the Great Wave, but I think realistically I'd say the Mona Lisa, because I was just shitting on like the European stuff. But I don't know. I don't have my facts, so I don't want to like speak too much on this, but I've heard that the Mona Lisa wasn't actually as popular until semi-recently. Like, it wasn't like it was made by Da Vinci, and then that was like a masterpiece. It was like one of his art exhibits, and I think the Louvre decided to put it out on display, and I think there was good marketing behind it
To like hype it up.
yes, where then it became the Mona Lisa that we know today. But I don't think most of its life it lived within that like famousness of like the Mona Lisa.
A lot of works are more popular, post-mortem.
No, but that's even what I'm saying. Like, I think it wasn't like he died and then it was in storage somewhere.
It took time, yeah.
Yeah, and then they're like, oh, let's put up the Mona Lisa, let's market it, and then it turned into what it was. But it could have easily has been, something else, right?
The power of marketing, though.
The power of marketing and art.
Yeah.
We dip our toes into the art world a lot. I think it's very interesting, but so much of it has to do with like perception, the artist, the perceived value of something. You can have something that you look at and you're like, why is that millions of dollars? But yeah. So yes, I think I would take the Mona Lisa, but I don't know why I would take the Mona Lisa.
Interesting. The Great Pyramid of Giza also.
Yeah, that follows it.
Yeah. And then many sculptures and busts, because again, the golden ratio is often associated with, classic beauty. And then in nature, and probably also led to like how people depicted beautiful humans, we see it more or less with like navel to floor ratio, like from the bottom of your feet up to your belly button follows like a golden ratio versus your total height.
Do you remember? Sorry. Do you remember that scene in Silicon Valley?
No.
So they're discussing, it's like the jerk off scene where they spend a big chunk of the episode saying how Ehrlich would have to like jerk off all the dudes in the auditorium.
Oh, then they do like a math formula to figure out how that would be possible.
One of them is the dick to floor ratio and like
Yeah.
how to line them all up.
Yes, I remember that.
It's just reminded me of this.
Silicon Valley is a hilarious
great
show.
Yes.
Yeah. Also, finger bone lengths is approximately like following the golden ratio or
So
feet.
a lot of it is in us. Yeah. Ooh, my fingers. Okay, so
Our DNA strands and structure as well.
So tip to first knuckle, multiply that times 1.6 something, that gives
5.
first knuckle to second knuckle.
Yeah, 5.
And then multiply that times 5, it gives second knuckle to third knuckle. Oh, you are so smart. That is a great way to visualize it. So if you have fingers and you're listening to this episode, put one of your fingers up, maybe the pointer, and then look at it and you'll be able to see it. That's what the ratio is. Oh, okay.
Yeah. in like nature, you'll see it in the sunflower is a great way to look at it.
Yeah.
The spiral. In flower petals, those are Fibonacci numbers. Like, they'll have, it usually starts with like 5 petals, 8 petals, 13,
They
so
follow
on,
the sequence. Yeah.
so on and so forth.
The
Pineapple.
sunflowers one is really interesting. If you look at like the center of a sunflower, it's really beautiful.
Yeah. Pineapples too. Pineapples have a spiral. The shells, like specifically the nautilus shells, which are like ocean creature. I already mentioned DNA. So yeah, a lot of places in
Let's
nature.
talk about DNA a little bit because it's a helio. What am I thinking? It's not heliospheric, but it's like a strand that kind of folds on itself, right? So it looks like a ladder, and then you twist the ladder, and it's made of the 4 amino acids. So is it? I'm guessing all the amino acids aren't the same size, right? So there are some amino acids that are smaller and some are bigger, and that's what you're saying, or what do you mean?
So the DNA double helix structure
Yes.
exhibits proportions closely related to the golden ratio. So one full cycle of the helix measures, the way that they measure DNA is in something called angstroms, 34 angstroms long by 21 angstroms wide, and those are consecutive Fibonacci numbers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was possibly the amino acids that like they're different.
It's like
lengths.
the height.
Yeah.
The height and the width. It makes a golden rectangle.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the classic pentagram, like the perfect 5-point pentagram,
Yes.
is dictated by Fibonacci sequences. Like you can measure things and they all like add up to Fibonacci numbers. It's super cool to see.
Do we own any pentagrams here in the studio?
Not in the studio, but I have some at home. Well, I mean, tarot cards have pentagrams, so I guess
okay.
technically.
Would you ever get a pentagram tattoo?
Why not? It represents the 5 elements. It doesn't represent like Satanism like people think.
Yeah, show that to your mom. See what she thinks.
I'm gonna be like, son monedas.
Be
They're
like,
coins.
surprise!
Golden coins, mom.
Oh my gosh.
Abundance.
I don't think I could get a pentagram. I have a few pentagrams that I wear more for like the vibe. My grandma fucks hard with pentagrams. She loves them. She's always asking for like pentagrams from Mexico.
Okay, but a lot of people associate pentagrams with like Satanism. They have a lot of like.
I mean, people associate Pokemon with Satanism.
Yeah, what don't people
Yeah,
associate
yeah.
with Satanism? But yeah, a lot of traditions use it to represent like the 5 elements, or in a lot of like Kabbalah stuff, I've seen it, which is like very interesting. But I wanted to tie this episode back. I'm like, how does this tie back to like witchy shit?
Yes.
Let's talk about astrology.
Let's do it.
And this is the 3rd episode in a row when I'm mentioning Venus. And specifically in this episode, I mentioned the birth of Venus and then also like Venus, the planet. So
We talked about Venus in Mardi Gras.
and in Lent.
What did we say in Mardi Gras? I forgot.
Well, Mardi Gras is before Lent, 40
Yes,
days.
yes,
Yeah,
yes, okay.
Venus retrograde.
Yes.
Basically with Mardi Gras and Lent. But yeah, so let's talk about Venus with the golden ratio. Well, one, beauty and art, Venus coded, but like let's talk about the literal like math science pentagram. So Venus cycles, which are 8 years, make a pentagram. If you map Venus in the sky, and you map 5 points of Venus in an 8-year cycle, you will get a pentagram. So,
Oh.
yes. So a Venus pentagram is created by 5 superior conjunctions, which a superior conjunction is when Venus is behind the sun from the perspective of the earth, but like technically in like an astrology way, they're in the same place. So I guess imagine like if you have 3 dominoes, it's like the dominoes are technically on the same x-axis but different, or on the y-axis but different places on the x-axis, if that is making sense. So basically when Venus and the sun are like in the same place in the y-axis, we're going to call that superior conjunction. So again, when Venus is behind the sun from the perspective of the earth, those are also called the 5 petals of Venus. And again, if you track them in an 8-year cycle in a circle because of its orbit, if you track it in its orbit in an 8-year cycle, you will get a pentagram.
And you already talked about how the Fibonacci series is found in petals. Mm-hmm. Do you think that was coincidence, or like the reason we called them petals?
If
Because it visually kind of looks like it.
If you look it up, it looks like petals. It is really, really cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to find it to show you so you can see.
Oh, I see
the
it.
reaction.
Oh, I see it.
So, do you see how this looks like a flower?
Yes, I see that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. So look up like the 5 Venus petals, and you'll see basically people tracking Venus in relation to the sun and its orbit. It's super cool to see.
Well, since we're talking about it, what do those points mean? Do you know, like the 5?
They mean conjunctions. So that's why
I know, but like, what do they mean? Like, if Venus is in this, you'll have abundance, or like, do you know what it reads as?
So yeah, Venus and the sun conjunctions are usually a good thing. Sometimes it's getting really technical. It depends a lot like what sign it's in and stuff, but usually like Venus and the sun conjunct, I would say, is more positive than negative. The sun is ego, joy, expression, authenticity, and Venus is like pleasure, art, indulgence, wealth, like all of these things. So usually they're good points, but there's always like rules in astrology, like,
but just broad strokes is
sometimes, you know, Venus and the sun, if they get too close, it gets like a little crispy. It's the best way to explain it. And
you need like the perfect ratio.
Yeah, a lot of things depend, and then it's like if it's in this sign, it's not great. If it's in this sign, it's a little better. But more or less, we'll call them a good thing. But
you know what? I don't know if this is true, but now that we're talking about this, I wonder if our solar system follows the golden ratio, whereas the distance from the sun to Mars, you know, times the distance from Mars to Venus. Not Mars. It's
the sun is in the center.
Yes,
and then it's Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn.
I wonder if it does follow, because you know why I think it might is because Pluto's so far away, and if we're talking about like an exponential, it might follow it, right? Because from Pluto to the sun is hella far away, and then we have the whole solar system within like a small span, right? And then we can like expand it. It does almost seem like it follows something similar.
Maybe this is one of those things of like when you learn about it and get excited, you want to find it everywhere.
Yes.
And maybe it's not. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. I didn't research that far, but we could look at it. Yeah. But at least with Venus, it's for sure related.
Yeah.
And a lot. So speaking of trying to find it everywhere, a lot of people use this justification to say that God exists, believe it or not.
They do. No, I believe it. Yeah, of course. Because if something has a difficult explanation, the only logical explanation is it's God. Right?
God made it. God. Intelligent design. So again, Fibonacci sequences are cool, but again, they're not like a rule that nature must abide by. Like, genetic mutations exist, disabilities exist, you know, crimes against humanity. Like, people are like, how do you explain that? It's intelligent design and nothing is on accident. It's like, not that disabilities are like, you know, you're completely screwed and that's like your lot in life, but I've seen some pretty heartbreaking and devastating disabilities, and it's like, you can't tell me that's intentional or that's like intelligent design. And if someone chose to make someone like that disabled versus like able-bodied, that's fucked up. Like, I don't know.
I have two like things. These are kind of my go-to that a lot of religious folks kind of go to. They're like, for example, the eye is so complex. Like, it must have been an intelligent designer. The eye is not a great product. If you're going to be a product designer, it is not. The human eye has no protection. It's an open membrane, so a poke will fuck you up. You can introduce bacteria into it, so that's already imperfect. We see a very small spectrum. Human visible light, in the big spectrum, we don't see ultraviolet and we don't see infrared. We see just the few colors of the rainbow. So that's imperfect. We can be born with cataracts. We can be born... It also, I don't want to say not disintegrates. It deteriorates as you get older. So a lot of religious folks say that the eye is like so complex and it's so perfect. It is not. It is a very, very, very flawed design. Another one that they like to go to is the banana. They say like, you haven't heard this?
No.
They said the banana has to prove the existence of God because it like fits perfectly in your hand. It like it's it's like perfect for the human hand. What people don't realize is that modern bananas are engineered. Ancient bananas did not look like those yellow things you see today. They were crossbred, and they were bred for human adaptation. So we as humans made the banana good for humans, not a creator making the banana good for humans.
I wanted to say something vulgar about something else fitting perfectly in my hand, but I will not. I will abstain.
Yes. But you could go everywhere, right? I mean, you can look at circumcision. If God made it perfect, then why do you have some religions having to cut off a tip for that covenant, right? Like, if that's God's perfect body and perfect image, then why are we mutilating it in the name of God?
Yeah. So I'm not saying I do or I don't believe.
This thing's freaky. Yeah,
I know.
You're getting too. This is our blasphemous reader right now.
It's like, you're going too far.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm not saying that I do or I don't believe in a source, but like, I need more evidence than just this thing is beautiful, you know. But anyway,
Awesome.
In summary, people just like proportions.
No, I loved it. I think it was a great episode. I learned so much. You did such a good job of explaining it. I don't think I'd ever fully understood it. I do think it's cool. I think it's really cool to have that in nature. But ultimately, it does come down to just nature, and that's what nature is. So
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, how can people get a hold of you?
Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Blue Sky at Giancarlo or giancarlo.com, as well as Facebook, Kythera Collective LLC.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for listening and watching today's episode.
Remember, the magic within you makes the world a more beautiful place. Blessed be, and signing off. Bye.